Sigma, Swanson, Sigma, Layaway, Raheem. A lot of these cities are very limited. Now, with this limitation, and with people wanting people to be in touch with them, they want them to be like them. This meditation. So I see a lot of people giving satsangs. Satsang itself means in the presence of the truth. And these people giving satsangs, a lot of them are not even the truth. I went to a satsang once, a few times in my city. And my questions he could not answer. Of course he didn't like me, because I was the truth in the satsang, in the presence of the false. I went there to make it a real satsang. And I asked him, are you enlightened? And he said, oh well, everything's enlightened, the trees are enlightened. But I asked him again, but buddy, satsang means in the presence of the truth, in the presence of the real guru. I asked him again, but are you enlightened? Well, enlightenment can go, he said, enlightenment can go a lot of ways. Something can be enlightened, we're all enlightened. But I said, buddy, just listen to my question. Are you enlightened? He knew I was enlightened. I said, are you enlightened? He said, no. But these are the type of people that are in these cities. They're very punctual and expressive people who pick up on the words of these gurus. And they realize that they can say the same thing, so they choose to. But the teaching of these real gurus is not in the words. It's in their presence and in their being. It's in something that's unspeakable. Something untouchable. Something rare, something usually unseen, something mystic. Why I don't approve of these Western masters. It's not so simple. One question deserves a 2-hour lecture at least. Every single question has its own significance. Every single question has its own importance. And every person and every questioner that asks the question is worthwhile for everything you have. Not just, that's what I have to say about it. 2 hours. When Zen Master High Priest was asked a question, it took him 1 hour to answer one question. 1 whole hour. When you listen to the whole hour, then you can understand the significance of philosophy and logic. That to be a true guru, you have to answer every piece of that question for that person. In that question, there's more than just a question that's being said. The person is its own question in itself. Just by the way you ask a question, the entire nature of the words changes. So that's why I can't support these Western masters. When people who are not even enlightened can say the same things you are saying better than you. Take the time to read and study. and care to throw yourselves into mystic situations that you can have stories about. I want to hear their stories. I want to feel a connection with them. I want to know about them. I want to know about their past lives, their past lives stories. I don't want to hear the same things that these people are saying when they're not even enlightened. And these unenlightened so-called gurus, these unenlightened so-called masters, these unenlightened so-called presences of truth need to take the steps to become enlightened in this life. Don't jump to help people. Take your time, and when the time is right, then you can move. But without your mind, your awareness can prove it to your soul. It's not a lie. I know from my own experience. And all these people giving these satsangs who are not enlightened, they know it themselves that they're not the truth. And I can ask all of them, are you enlightened? Oh, the bird's enlightened, everyone's enlightened, everyone's a Buddha on the inside. But that's just what these people have told you, and you've misconstrued it with your own beliefs. I once spoke to, chatted with, it was a so-called awakened priest. He ran a monkery. And since I looked so young, he told me instantly, you know, we are cool, we have feasts of meat, and we drink beer. So I told him, you're not enlightened. And immediately started defending myself, saying the same things these other people say. Oh, you're so full of yourself, kid. You got a lot of learning to do, kid. You gotta sit down and shut up and listen. I said, okay, I'll listen and see what you have to say. He didn't have anything to say. He just wanted to prove that he could beat me. But the universe is not something you can defeat in a debate. The true universe will always win. And a true universe versus a true universe, they would not debate. The true universe cares so much to know. And the only thing in an argument can be a knowing versus a belief. One person is wrong, one person is right. One person knows, and one person only believes. But the belief is only skin deep. I can poke at your beliefs, and immediately you start defending yourself. Because you believe your belief to be yourself. I only stick to knowing, so no one can argue with me. The same way with Zen Master High Priest. No one could argue with him. He was the debate champion of all of India. No one can debate with me either. But I'm only going to say what I know. No matter what happens in that debate, I know that my knowings can only disconfigure and discombobulate your beliefs. But I've yet to see an awakened church pastor or priest. But I did see many people who are starting to get onto mystic paths, starting to say things that are outside of the Bible, things that they know. And I support these pastors and these priests more than these people who are giving these meditation classes and these satsangs who are not even enlightened. Because they have something real to say, something of their own knowings. I don't like when they're always quoting this book of Matthew, this book of David, this book of Job, this book of Numbers, all these books, instead of quoting their own books. I've been to many churches all over Ottawa, many churches, and there was a few these new age pastors and these new age priests. I could tell that they have wisdom to share. They sneak in their wisdom. But I would prefer it if they would not quote from these books every day. Instead, to quote from their own books that they wrote themselves. I would prefer quote from other books outside of the usual books. Give some real wisdom in the best way that you can explain it. You can write a book of nonsense, and you can make metaphors for any nonsense, because the whole stages, the whole idea of enlightenment is nonsense. Nonsense. Do nuns have sense? Does nothing have sense? Enlightenment has nothing. Does it have any sense? It has sense. You have awareness as a human being so that God can have sense. So God can experience the feeling of having some sense, having awareness. So that God can be aware of his own self. Animals aren't even aware. That's why your human nature is to be aware of your own self. But what are you aware of? Everything else. A tree is your own self. Your hair is brown, and the bark of a tree is brown. You breathe in the green, and you're meant to eat the green. The leaves on the trees turn red when they die. But they're sweet potatoes and red onions. And you can eat the crust of an onion. And you can also eat the husk. Most of these fruits. But I guarantee you, 95% of people never take the chance to eat the husks. Because they want the meat, right? The meat unbalances your psyche. Instead of meat, try eating nuts and see what you like more. Over a whole lifetime, I bet you like the nuts more. Over your whole lifetime. You're supposed to come to a point where you can stop eating meat. Because you know you have to put all these chemicals on it for you to like the taste of it. In Africa, they eat the meat raw. Cooked, but raw, without any sauce. Yeah, they're poorer than you, but they're more healthy than you. Might not have that much money, or at least they're not putting all that chemicals. Read the back packaging of this barbecue sauce. All this ungranulated sugar and all these chemicals that you don't need. There's things that your body don't want and the things that your body don't need. You think that your mind is your body. You think that that sensation itself is your body. Taste itself is health. It's not true. Health tastes like health. Fruits taste the way trees look. Meat doesn't look like trees. Meat just tastes the way dying animals look when you cook them on a fire after you kill them and torture them. When you eat meat, you get a false sense of pride that you can conquer this earth. You look outside and you feel, I can conquer this bitch. But you never do. So that's why they provide you with movies that conquer it for you. So that you can get the feeling, oh yeah, I conquered this because I got the feeling of it. You didn't conquer anything. You can't even conquer your own mind. You can't even conquer your own self. How do you suppose you can conquer this whole earth? The only way is to conquer your own self. To conquer your own mind indefinitely. Irrefutably. To be the bigger man or woman than your mind. Even if you're only 6, 7. You can become enlightened when you're 8, 9, 10, 11. Many people have. But you don't hear about them so much. They're so concerned with this Buddha. The writings of him aren't even him. But they have the essence of him. At Buddha's death, thousands of people were there. All of them cried except for 20 of them. And Zen Master High Priest died. He wanted everyone to celebrate. To celebrate that there was great essence on this life, and that this world and this life was not a hoax. There was true people, and there was a true person, and there was an old man. There was an old man.